Looking at Hajin who was sitting in front of him and the bag he was holding, Asura thought, as the spirit told me, that person does have crystal fragments, and plus, there are dying people he has to protect. Asura smiled at the thought. He felt that this mission was too easy. In a condescending tone, Asura said that he was really a pathetic human being. This was the reason why he threw away his humanity. He refused to be chained by a meaningless burden like him. Hearing that, with a flat face, Hajin answered half-hearted. He asked him, "So, did you come here alone?" Asura was silent for a moment hearing his question. Asura coughed for a moment to correct his attitude. He said that he was not alone, he had an army. Hajin was certainly confused to hear that, because he did not see anyone other than him. Asura said that he was not lying. He really had an army of more than 2,000 people, but Hajin didn't seem to believe his words. He felt that he was just talking big. Anyone could say that. With a mocking smile, Hajin said if it was like that, he also had thousands of golden cows in his house. Hajin felt that people today lied that easily. He laughed out loud when he said that. Asura was certainly annoyed and angry at his mockery. He was really angry with his brash attitude and how dare he mock him like that. While releasing a powerful reddish mana, Asura said that he would teach him a lesson. Asura mobilized his mana and formed several portals. Shortly after that, inside the portal, a monster appeared that slowly came out from inside, but Hajin showed no signs of nervousness at all. He already knew that this was Asura's unique ability, the power to sacrifice his own mana to summon creatures from the demon realm, the tide of demonic beasts. Asura was now surrounded by monstrous creatures that came out of the portals he formed and formed a kind of army ready to fight to the death for him. When Hajin was preparing to face Asura, he suddenly heard Yona calling him. In a weak tone, Yona asked him to just leave her and run away from here as soon as possible. Hearing that, Hajin then calmed her down and told her not to worry. He assured her that this would end soon. Hajin said that it would be fine and told her to just rest. Hearing that, Yona apologized to him, and said that she was counting on him. Right after she said that, Yona then couldn't support her body anymore and decided to continue resting, while Yona was resting behind him. Hajin himself was preparing to face the enemy in front of him. He then used his stigma's mana to release ether and changed the Desert Eagle's form into a rifle. With increased damage brought by the ether, he was able to increase the inherent attack power of his Desert Eagle. Plus, he didn't need to use any stamina or mana at all. He only needed to use his finger to pull the trigger. In addition, he then used recognition to further increase the damage of his Desert Eagle, and how happy he was when he saw the number 44% on the system screen. He felt like he had hit the jackpot, but Hajin didn't stop there. He then put a little of his stigma's mana into the crystal, and right after that, a very powerful aura was then emitted which centered from him. The aura was so powerful that it made the surrounding rocks fly and made the nearby trees almost uprooted. Hajin looked very satisfied to see that. The aura he emitted earlier changed the terrain around them. He was now completely ready to face the beast army summoned by Asura. Asura himself looked surprised at what he did. He was surprised to see him knowing how to use the crystal of the past, but he didn't feel panicked at all. Even though he changed the terrain, he felt that it wouldn't change anything. Hearing that, with a big smile that seemed to say that he was wrong, Hajin said that it would make a lot of difference. Seeing her friend struggling alone while she herself was helpless to do anything, Yona then recalled her past. Hunting dogs, it was the name that people gave her family as an insult, but Yona didn't care what they thought. She silently told them to laugh as much as they wanted. In the end, they would all kneel before her, but, in order for that to work, Yona realized that she had to succeed and bring honor to her family name. It was a dream that she had to achieve alone. Yona felt that maybe that was also the reason why those memories flowed back in her mind when she saw Hajin from behind. See, Hajin who faced the beasts alone, Yona was like looking at her old self, who carried everything alone. Seeing the beasts charging towards him did not make Hajin flinch. He then calmly pulled the trigger and made the beasts unable to get close to him at all. Seeing Hajin's shots that did not miss in the slightest and hit right at their weak points, Yona was amazed. He made a formation that could not be surrounded. While attacking the weak points of the incoming beasts meticulously, the waves of incoming demons, which had flooded him like powerful waves in the ocean, now disappeared like foam. None of their attacks hit him or could even get close to him. It's a flawless shooting technique. Yona suddenly got a strange feeling. She was confused as to why she suddenly felt warm, but she then figured it out shortly after. So, this is how it feels if there is someone protecting me. It feels good. This is a feeling that is quite foreign to Yona. Meanwhile, in front of the city hall, Soho's group was facing Yudong and his entourage at the moment. Seeing Yudong and several armed men standing in his way, Soho then swung the mistletoe. It was not an ordinary swing, even from a long distance. Some of the men beside Yudong were thrown away when hit by the impact of his sword swing, but Yudong showed no signs of panic or nervousness when he saw that. He just looked at him while putting a small smile on his face. Seeing that, Soho wasted no time and immediately rushed forward to attack him, but the slashes that Soho threw could be easily blocked by him. Yudong did not plan to just defend against him. He then counterattacked, and the clash created by the clash of their attacks then caused a powerful shockwave around them. In the midst of the clash of their attacks, Yudong suddenly asked him if he was telling the truth earlier. Soho was certainly confused to hear that. Yudong asked, "Is the man who stayed behind is really stronger than you?" Soho smiled at his question. He said that he was not a person who liked to lie. Hearing that, Yudong then guessed that he often sparred with him, but Soho said that they had only sparred once. Yudong was then surprised at his unexpected answer, but their attention was then immediately distracted when they heard various screams behind them. The men brought by Yudong screamed in pain when someone attacked them strongly. The attack was so strong and fast that immediately fell them in one attack. It was certainly Shin Jonghak's doing. He was so strong compared to the extras like them. The scene looked like a one-sided massacre done by him. Seeing that, Yudong asked if that person was as strong as him. Soho didn't answer. He just laughed when he heard his question. Yudong felt that he could not relax now. The people he brought were strong enough, but he was able to slaughter them so easily. He felt that their strategy had fallen apart now. Seeing Yudong who drove towards him and threw attacks at him, Soho then calmly parried his attack. He said that it wasn't too late, they didn't need to fight, he was just being used by the jinn. But Yudong wasn't affected by his words at all. He said that it didn't matter. In times like this, might is justice. The impact of their clash was strong enough that Soho was forced to retreat backwards. Hearing his words earlier made Soho realize that he couldn't solve this problem with just words, so he decided to focus fully on his fight with Yudong. Soho coated Mistiltine with his golden mana and prepared to face him. Seeing that, Yudong didn't look panicked or scared. Instead, he looked interested. He seemed to be able to see the specialty of the tree branch in his hand. He said that he was really hiding something interesting. He also felt that it was time to stop this game. Yudong suddenly threw away the large iron that he used as his weapon, but the strangeness didn't stop there. His whole body suddenly shook violently, and his body that had been the size of an adult, suddenly showed signs of enlarging. Soho, whose height was not so far from him earlier, suddenly looked so small at this time, with a form like a small giant. Yudong said that he would also show his trump card.